Good morning, valued viewers. I hope you're all doing very well. I've been desperate to get up into the unit. Haven't managed it this week otherwise, other than this morning, because we've all been ill. We've had a cold or the flu in the family. Nothing's been got done, but it's what it is. So at least I've got a few hours today. So I'm cracking on. Not a huge amount's happened. Managed to finish these rear hub assemblies off. Ooh, sexy hub assemblies, viewers. Look at that. That's what it's all about. Stuff I need to get on with. Backing plates. Dust shields, backing plates for the front hubs. Just going to strip them down, paint them. They're not hugely rusty, so not a major problem. Brake calipers I need to start thinking about at some point. Not really sure what to do with them. They're sort of in between. They're not bad enough to get rid of and replace them with new ones, and I might just clean them up and paint them. I'm not sure. I haven't decided, but I'm not going to do a full refurb on them because it's just too much of a pain on the butt. To be honest, it's so cheap to buy refurbed ones, properly refurbed ones anyway. It's just not worth it. So we'll have a look at that. So I got that. Fuel tank is the next major item. These, I'm just waiting for the powder to go to the powder coating. I'm just waiting to get access to a car big enough so I can take this to the powder coater. Weird problem, I know. I don't know. I'm going to do that yet. Anyway, fuel tank is the next one. Fuel tanks can always be a bit of a challenge. A metal fuel tank, obviously, so it's relevant to what we're doing today. Some cars have plastic fuel tanks, which I probably prefer, to be honest, but fuel tank is obviously a safety item, so you have to be super careful with it. It's several bits all in one, so I need to disassemble it to a certain degree, inspect it. You can see some surface rust. It's kind of starting around here, obviously. Underside, so this is just painted. The underside is properly undersealed. But that doesn't mean it hasn't got rusty under there, so it does need looking into. If it turns out to just be surface rust, then it can come off and I can repaint it, and cool. You have to be a little bit careful with fuel tanks though, because rust, obviously the way rust works is it kind of, well, I don't really know how it works, but it does little pits. It goes down in little pits. Maybe you guys can tell me why it does that. And if there's pitting around here that's, could possibly going through to the actual cell, then I have to be careful. And if that happens, you probably just need a new fuel tank, to be honest. But I'm quietly confident I'm not going to have to do that. So I'm going to get disassembling that. Heat shield, obviously, there. You need something doing with it. And I will let you know how we got on with that. Stand by. Oh yeah, always a good idea if you're going to refurb your car, empty the friggin' fuel tank beforehand. Top tip. Welcome back. It all turned out to be okay in the end. It's just surface rust with no penetration, which is great. So I've just stripped back the surface rust where I needed to, taking it back to bare metal, top and bottom. I'm going to put some rust treater on it, just to make sure I haven't missed anything, top and bottom, and then I'll pretty much just repaint the whole thing, because why the hell not? Might as well give it some new paint. That's it. Welcome back, viewers. While I'm leaving paint to dry on well done on the yes, well done, baby. Welcome back, viewers. While I'm leaving the paint to dry on those other bits, the fuel tank and stuff, I thought I'd take a look at the brakes. So I'm doing the front brake calipers first. These tend to be easier than the rears. The rears get used less, so they get seized up worse, and plus they just get the more mucky and nasty and rusty anyway, as they're on the rear of the car. So the things I like to check for are just the obvious stuff. Make sure the main piston seal there, main rubber seal, isn't cracked, starting to weather, because that would start letting grit, dirt and water into the piston. And they appear to be fine, especially this one. Very nice condition. Don't worry about the wetness, it's just because I've just cleaned this one. Obviously look out for any leaks, but these aren't. I double checked these aren't leaking, it's just stuff that I've been doing. Make sure the actual piston itself isn't too rusty. They're always a little bit rusty because they're steel, but it's not corroded too bad. It's alright, baby, don't worry. It's just being a bit moany. The seals here, the actual caliper seals on the outer edges here, make sure they're not obviously starting to deteriorate, and they're not really, they're just dirty. So the rubbers, or the main visible rubbers that you can see, are all good. No obvious water ingress. The piston isn't too rusty. You test that the piston actually moves back, obviously, which I'm actually not going to bother doing here because I left my piston wind back tool in the unit and I'm at home now, which is a bit annoying, but I don't really need to because this particular car recently passed its road safety tests anyway, and they would have picked up if one of the calipers wasn't functioning, so I'm pretty sure everything's non-seized, which is great. So what am I trying to say? None of these need restoring. They're fine. I just need to, clean them up and make them look a bit more pretty. So the way I do that, I've restored these before as well, and they're such a pain in the ass. It's so fiddly. I'm glad. Bye, Bubby. Oh dear. There's one upset baby. So I just give them a clean up in that case. So it's obviously important not to let water get in the hydraulic system because then you're doomed, literally doomed at that point. So what I do is the hydraulic bolts, the eye bolts, take it out, put a ring of rubber around it. You can see there in orange. Tighten it up, and that just stops any water getting in the system. Obviously, hydraulic pressure comes down the line here through the eye bolt into the chamber, pushes on the piston, which does the clever scissor action that the calipers do. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. So that's it. So and then with that, then you don't have to worry about any water ingress. So just go nuts, clean it with water and usual stuff, and then I'm just going to paint all around the outside, just the visible areas. It doesn't help at all. It just makes it look a bit nicer. No one wants big rusty grabbers on their brake discs. It looks nasty, so I'll get them painted silver or whatever I desire with a heat resistant paint, and that's it. So these are the fronts. We'll see how the rears are in a minute. Welcome back, viewers. So it's nice that all the components for reassembling the hubs and the carrier assemblies are now, well, just about finished. The last bits of paint are drying, which is nice. It's all been surprisingly time-consuming, actually. Really time-consuming. It's just lots and lots of scraping off rust, which just takes forever because of funny shapes and stuff, but it is what it is. Probably the most difficult bit was actually these front carriers, because if you look at these areas here, where the ball joint spigots go in, they're kind of tapered and they're precision, kind of mating surfaces. So to prepare them and paint them without painting inside those things is actually surprisingly difficult. It took bloody ages, and I think I've learnt a few lessons along the way. But yeah, bit of a sod. But I've done the best I can. I guess next I can reassemble those hubs, which is nice. I feel like something's actually getting completed after God knows how long. Other than that, I'm painting the fuel tank. One side painted now, and then I'll paint the other side, just doing a heat shield over there. Then later on today, this lot is ready to go off to the sandblaster finally. So I'll get that in. I borrowed Alison's mum's car, so I'll get that all chalked up and over there. It'll be nice. And then the final thing today will be the fuel lines and the brake lines. I need to, have a proper look at them. Lots of those in this workshop. I need to have a proper look at them, see what needs doing, how I'm going to do it. Also the brackets will need cataloguing and refurbing as well. And that's that. Today, hub carrier assembly is all done. I'm just going to do a little bit more painting around the edges, but everything otherwise looking pretty smart. Welcome back, viewers. The dreaded fuel lines and brake lines. Never enjoyed this bit, always very difficult. So first of all, brake lines. The ones at the front of the car, they're fine, I'll leave them. The ones at the rear of the car are obviously the corroded ones. So this is the rear lateral one. The line itself is okay, but it's starting to get rusty around here, and I don't think it's worth saving. Brake lines, it's not generally something you like to mess around with. The one that goes under the car, the long one, it's okay. Again, it's starting to get a bit funny at that end there, so again, might as well just replace it. I'm not sure if you can buy original lines anymore, but even if you could, I don't know, they're a pain in the butt to deal with. So it leaves 2 options. You can make your own, or you can buy aftermarket ones. I've made my own before. You make them out of copper nickel, which is a nice pliable metal that doesn't rust and is strong enough. You can do that, but it's just easier to buy braided lines in, like steel braided lines with a rubber covering, and I'm all up for easy and safe, so I'll probably just buy that in, and they're flexible, so you just pin them in place basically, and it replaces the line and they won't rust. And if I can, I'll do the same with that, replace that. That would be a nice solution. Some people don't like them because they don't look, you know, as good as the original ones, but I don't really care how, you know, perfect my brake lines look, as long as they're safe and not rusty. So I'll do that, which just leaves the fuel lines. The fuel lines are always a bit of a sod, I find, or I've certainly never found a nice solution for them. I've replaced them on cars before, and I've done it with same thing, copper nickel, because you can't buy these. You can't buy the originals anymore for any of these old cars, and there's no aftermarket solution. So the best I've found is copper nickel again. You just match the whatever you call it, the diameter. But these ones aren't going to be possible because they've got these mouldings on the end here, and I need to retain these mouldings because they work with plastic clips, and there's no way I can make that. So these lines have to be saved, as far as I can see. Luckily, they're not very rusty, which is great. They've had a bit of an easy life, and that works for me. I've not found anything that I can't easily tackle. Minor corrosion, really. So they will need to be done still. So my solution is, well, I don't know what my solution is yet, because if you're going to, you can't really paint them. You can't paint lines. Paint's never strong enough. You can paint, you know, things like that over there. That's okay, because they're just lumps of cast iron. It's fine, but painting lines isn't really strong enough. So I'm going to separate them now, take them down to the local powder coater, and see if an option is cleaning them up and powder coating them straight on, pretty much. You know, where they bake the paint on. That's going to be much tougher, because they've got to put up with a lot of abuse. So we'll see what he says. If not, then I don't know what the solution is. Some kind of chemical process, some kind of chemical painting process would otherwise be the solution. So let me know what you think, viewers, because I don't know how you can make that tough enough as it is. Okay, otherwise I just need to just log them and disassemble them. This is very important. This is really easy to get wrong, and I've got it wrong on cars before. So obviously all the rubber pipes have come off and have to be carefully logged exactly where they go, which end they go, which way they go, which orientation they go, because otherwise nothing fits back together and you just end up screwing it all up. Then the lines need to fit together in exactly a certain way, as you can see, which looks easy, but once you've taken it apart, they never go back together again, you know, because they're steel. You just rest on a bit, it'll, you know, they're plastic at the end of the day in the way they react, so they'll bend out of line slightly and never get them back again. So all you have to do is make sure you really carefully log everything. So what I'm doing in this case, because I'm replacing the brake pipe, is I'm using this as a guide. This is going to be my guide, okay? It's the right shape, and I'll keep it safe out the way so no one steps on it. Also, where the clips go and which clip is which is really important. If you get them mixed up, everything just gets mixed up, and it's a bloody nightmare. So I've marked all the clip positions that are coming off and their orientation that each clip goes at. Then you've got to log them and make sure you don't get them mixed up. So I've just, you know, a little thing here where all 8 clips will be logged, which way they go, which way the insert goes into the clip. The clip needs to be derusted and thingy and painted and whatnot. I can do that myself, that's fine. I can paint them. And then so you've got a record then of exactly how everything goes back, where each clip is, because like I said, otherwise everything's a mess. And then you really want to get it all aligned on here if possible, on the ground, before you put it on the car. If you start doing it on the car, you end up just mashing everything, mashing the nice underside of your car at that point, mashing the clips up, mashing the fuel lines up, start scratching everything, and you've just basically made it worse than how it was in the first place. So lesson learned, log everything absolutely perfectly, proper OCD, go treat it however I'm going to treat it, come back, recreate it perfectly here, millimetre for millimetre, with everything new and fresh, and then put it back on the car in one lovely big lump with no tugging and pulling and adjusting and scratching and pissing about. Yeah, that's my advice. So I'm going to get that all done and logged. Welcome back. Ta-da! Lovely new fuel tank. Ooh, 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 ooh. Right, so I'm going to reassemble the various brackets and put that back together. Then that is all of the components that came off the car now, refurbed. Oh, apart from all that lot that went to the, is now gone to the sandblaster and powder coater, who's going to do that, and then we've got to worry about reassembling that a lot as well, but that's going to wait a week or so. Oh, that's it. That's the end of the bits for now. We're going to start next to have a look at the actual car chassis.